Contrary to its appearance, the pacifier is not a harmless substance. Take it from a child and you will see the reaction of a drug addict. Boys who extensively used pacifiers had a higher likelihood of showing emotional difficulties, such as shyness and withdrawal, than those who did not use pacifiers or used them for a short time. Strangely enough, the prolonged use of pacifiers harms boys only, but not girls. Some researchers believe that facial muscles' free movement and the ability to imitate others are crucial in developing emotional intelligence. However, the pacifier locks the boys' faces in a rigid position at a critical age when they should mimic the faces of adults. The more boys suck their dummies, the less emotionally developed adults they become. When boys don't learn to imitate others, they will struggle to recognize and interpret their emotions. But this is not true for girls. Pacifiers don't hinder the development of female emotions, and researchers can only guess why. They think girls may develop their emotional life sooner than the pacifiers could interfere with it. Sorcerers, however, assert that the womb has energetic functions other than reproduction, one of which may be the development of emotional intelligence. Boys who had a hard time letting the pacifier go actually didn't let it go. They just exchanged it for something else. As boys grow older, they are ridiculed for sucking the dummy, so they feel ashamed and look for other means of pacification. And they turn to their imagination. Yes, they pacify themselves in a fantasy world. You may think that eventually all children grow out of fantasies and become down-to-earth grown-ups. But that's not the case. As they develop, they exchange their childish fantasies for the fantasies of adults, who have also learned their fantasies the same way and for the same reason, to keep themselves pacified. Just look around and you will see many compulsive behaviors as pacifiers, such as spending hours scrolling through social media, playing video games, drinking, overeating, shopping, flirting, and binge-watching TV shows. Even socially accepted and desired values, such as fandom, fame, luxury, success, and status, serve as pacifiers. Then why do we use pacifiers? Because we need to ease our anxiety. But why are we so anxious? Scholars and philosophers have been debating this topic for a long time. Still, none of their theories are satisfactory.
Kierkegaard wrote of anxiety as the dizziness of freedom, the dizzying effect of looking into the boundlessness of one's own possibilities. Albert Camus believed that we are anxious because we are constantly confronted with the meaninglessness of our lives. Simone de Beauvoir saw anxiety as a natural response to oppression. Friedrich Schiller believed that anxiety arises from a fundamental conflict between our rational and emotional selves. Walter Benjamin saw anxiety as a product of the modern condition arising from our disconnection from the natural world and our loss of belonging to the community. Gilles Deleuze saw anxiety as a fundamental aspect of human experience, arising from constant encounters with the unpredictable. Friedrich Nietzsche believed that anxiety arises when we confront the unknown and is a natural response to life's challenges. Maurice Merleau-Ponty viewed anxiety as a result of our bodily engagement with the world, and that it arises when we feel a sense of ambiguity about our environment.
These interpretations seem very personal to each author, and none seem to have the power of universality. In the active side of infinity, there is the quintessential university professor and Western thinker, Professor Lorca.
He makes sense when he talks because he is prepared to use words accurately. But he's not prepared to take himself seriously as a man who is going to die.
Professor Lorca had created brilliant theories that helped him forget that he was a being on his way to dying. The awareness that we are temporal beings, bound to die, is the missing ingredient from most philosophical inquiries.
We are not immortal, but we behave as if we were. This is the flaw that brings us down as individuals and will bring us down as a species someday.
For sorcerers, the awareness of our inescapable death is the crux of the matter. The philosopher Martin Heidegger hit right into the center of this topic.
He believed that anxiety arises from recognizing our own mortality. He argued that our awareness that we will die one day leads to anxiety, as we realize that our time on Earth is limited.
According to sorcerers, however, what leads to anxiety is not the awareness of death, but the lack of it. We do not know how to use death for our own benefit and run away from it. And we run to all sorts of distractions, even at the last minute. Anxiety is the tension we create by denying the undeniable fact of life, the inevitable and incomprehensible termination of our being. And we dull our awareness of death with the pacifier. There is a large variety of interpretation systems that serve as pacifiers, besides drugs and social values, including all kinds of descriptions of reality, such as science, technology, religion, philosophy, astrology, tarot, I Ching, destiny cards, enneagram, medicine cards, auspice, etc., and even sorcery. On the warrior's way, after many years of blunders, we arrive at a crossroads when we have to leave the old customary position of our perception and look for a new one. The most salient feature of the old position is the pacifier. For that matter, the most salient feature of the new position is also the pacifier, but a different kind. The change we all long for is ultimately the change in how we soothe ourselves in the face of our inevitable death. Having arrived at the crossroads, we exchange our old habits of pacification for the new habit of recapitulating those old habits of pacification.